The Guild started in 1982. I was one of the founder members. We were, I think, 8 people to launch, and we never had any idea it would actually go as forward as it has in the way it has over the years. The auction aspect of the Guild has really given it a wonderful pitch, and it's a wonderful forum for those people who are not aligned to larger corporates and generally have their heart and soul in making great wine.
Yes, I think for a member to join, one looks at his track record, and specifically there's a requirement where he has to be involved and been making quality wine for at least 5 years. And through this we also take a close look at the performance of the winemaker and his wines in competitions locally as well as internationally, and also at the stature of the person and the contribution made to the industry. And it definitely becomes quite evident when somebody's got the talent and the enthusiasm and the passion to make premium quality wine. And I think those are the kind of people we need, and we want to become members of the Guild.
I became a member of the Guild at the beginning of last year, which was a huge honour. It's something I always aspired to from my time at Elsenburg, and since I've been in the wine industry, and the fact that it happened when it did has just been unbelievable. You know, it's to sort of be involved with the winemakers of the caliber of, you know, who represent the Guild is just absolutely incredible, and it's all about the experience, and it's all about sort of building the knowledge of the group of winemakers that are members, and also sort of sharing that knowledge. And on a monthly basis we get together for the technical tastings, which are, I mean, it's not often you get to sit down and taste wines of the caliber that we get to taste.
The technical tastings for me have always been a key part of my membership of the Guild. I became a member in '96, and I haven't missed too many of the technical tastings. I think there's a lot to gain for all the members. It's a sharing of information, getting information from the other guys amongst our group, and of course getting to taste some really superb wines from within and without South Africa. We're wanting to learn, we're wanting to take home something with us at the end of each tasting. And for me, it actually, I just think one specific advantage and how it affected me in a direct way was some years ago we had a tasting and we were looking at wines from Mourvèdre and Petit Verdot. And the wines that we had at those specific tastings impressed me so much that it actually influenced my thinking, and we went and planted a half a hectare of each of those vines afterwards. So it had a direct implication on me from that particular tasting.
Well, making the Cape Winemakers Guild wines is always something very special. I think like each vintage is the beginning of a fresh idea for interpretation of the harvest, the weather and the soil. And then once we bring in the grapes, also to select the best barrels and best batches. And I think that this is really what makes the Winemakers Guild unique, because without the selection, they are no longer special. And in essence, I believe that's what the auction wines are about. We need to raise the standards, we need to improve the overall quality of South African wines. And it's seldomly done in large batches. It's invariably done in small, diminutive selections, interpretations, special attention, and ultimately personal taste.
Hi, I'm Tom Boardman, Chief Executive of Nedbank, and it's my great pleasure to just say a few words about the relationship between Nedbank and the Cape Winemakers Guild. First of all, this is the 14th year that we are one of the sponsors of the Guild, and 2009 marks, I think, 2 other important occasions. One is the 350th year of the winemaking industry in South Africa, and to mark this, we are delighted to announce that we have extended our sponsorship of the Cape Winemakers Guild for another 3 years to 2011. The Cape Winemakers Guild is at the forefront of the thinking and the technology in the wine industry, and our partnership with them makes a contribution towards this very important part of the South African economy. The Cape Winemakers Guild also puts a lot back into society. Firstly, through the Nedbank Cape Winemakers Guild Development Trust, which does excellent work in putting things back into the communities where we operate. And secondly, the Cape Winemakers Guild Protégé program, which is affording opportunities to some of our young people to develop and grow and become part of the winemaking industry. So it's a huge pleasure to be part of this long association, and we are delighted that we will continue to support the Cape Winemakers Guild and the excellent work that they do.
We all want transformation in this industry. It's gone a bit slowly, But we're speeding up because we know how to do it now. And this is a learning curve for all of us in the industry that are trying to push transformation on. And the Protégé project is, I think, particularly good because we identify people that have the education and say, okay, academically these people are fine. They're going to finish their degree and then give them the huge opportunity. And ultimately what we want to do is, male or female, we want them to be CWG members at the top of the pile.
The Protégé program has been specifically designed to empower winemakers from previously disadvantaged communities and train them to become exceptional winemakers and hopefully members of the guild one day. We aim to source these candidates from the two learning institutions, Stellenbosch University and Elsenburg. So the Protégé program isn't a handout. In fact, these protégés have to work as hard, if not harder, than the rest of the team. They really have to excel. We want to see their motivation and their commitment to producing outstanding quality wines at the end of the day.
I think it's our responsibility. I think in the line of our constitution, it is important to understand that we have a duty as a member to the Guild to partake in these protégé programs. I've been extremely happy and excited that I've been involved with both of our protégés at this stage. And man, there is so much potential out there. So I'm extremely excited that I'm plowing a little bit of energy back into mentoring people and you know, getting them to understand what the world of wine is about.
You know, I think we are a real rainbow nation. So we are black, brown, white winemakers. And at this stage, we need a bit more, I think, on the brown and black winemakers. So the Protégé program, in essence, I think, is to bring people of color into the industry. And one thing that I think is great, it's our privilege to share our experience, because I think the Cape Winemakers Guild guys are guys with real experience. And first of all, I actually have to say it's a privilege for me to be part of the Cape Winemakers Guild, but it's also a great privilege to share my experience with the protégés and to know that eventually, even though they studied at college or university, they are going to be much better in their field, much faster because of the experience that I had over the years.